welcome back to the Daily Buzz 716. We're continuing our conversation with best-selling author and business guru, Carl Gould. We've got books, Carl.
And
many books.
I'm like this. Never mind about
yeah,
that.
I know, right? You're already reading.
Sorry,
So this is your latest book.
Is Dev done right?
Let me say something. You see this little Amazon bestseller in the front? That means a lot. As a Amazon non-bestseller, I can tell you it ain't easy.
Well,
Good job.
Thank you. We're very proud of that. I wrote this with a very good friend and colleague, Karen Kopp, and we are very happy that it's been able to impact as many people as it has.
So it says here, demystifying the sales process and achieving the results you want. Well, that sounds really, really good to me, Carl. So tell me about this book and how I can achieve the results I want. Well, world domination, basically.
Basically, that's it. Yeah, we just have to decide how we carve it up.
See? Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, the number one skill any entrepreneur can really nurture over the years is their ability to sell, because nothing happens in a business without a sale happening, without somebody having your product or service on their shelf, or you know, currently using it or consuming it. So you have to understand sales, and what we have found is so many times people are doing pretty close to the right things. They're getting so close to the finish line, and then they sabotage their own efforts because they don't realize that they're getting it right. You know, when you're helping out another person as a coach, one way you could really help somebody is to point out when they're doing something wrong. Yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
But the greatest gift you can give them is point out when they're getting it right. And most people don't know when they're getting it right.
So they give up too soon. They go off their path too soon.
They overthink it.
And as you talk about sales, you know, I had to really just dive into the book. You used an anecdote and pretty much an example, apparently when you were golfing, and he showed you a videotape about Tiger Woods and him being the best player. Right. And you went into talking about the accuracy when it comes to hiring the best salesperson on the planet, that they have to assess exactly what they're doing and what they're great at and what they're doing that's right. So I'm excited. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I just found that area in the book.
And the point is
Carl's
that
comments.
Anyone can be good at it. Some people think that you have to be a certain way. You have to be that crazy auto salesperson, used car salesman, or you know,
or to be like someone else.
Please don't say that.
Yes.
Well, you don't. You just have to be yourself.
Oh, dear.
Right.
And the reality is that people are dying to buy. They love to buy things. You don't have to be a good salesperson. You just have to get out of the way enough and just align with how they buy. People love to consume. You give them $10, they will spend $10. Just make it, educate them enough to know if they're making the right decision for themselves. So we take very much a consultative approach to selling, where we educate the customer, help them understand what is the upside of taking action, the consequence of not taking action, and does this product or service align with their values and their beliefs and what they're trying to accomplish. If that's the case, people are ready to line up and purchase. But sometimes we overthink things and we're like, oh, we have to be creative and clever, and we have to say and do all these things, and we cloud the issue.
Just keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah,
you got a kiss.
And you've written other books. Let's see, you have the 7 Stages of Small Business Success. Tell us about that book.
So that book is how to take a business from launch to 7 figures in 3 years or less.
That sounds like winning the lottery. Okay, a small business to 7 figures in 3 years. It just doesn't sound possible.
It's, you know, of all the spots in the marketplace you will have competition for, the least competition that you will face is for number 1. There are so few people that have the goal to be number 1 in whatever they do, that's where the least competition is. So if you have a business, what you do is...
Are you saying most people aspire to mediocrity?
No, that actually not at all, but they don't necessarily go for all the way, right? So they don't say, I'm going to be the number 1 in the marketplace. So for example, Home Depot, when they started, they called themselves the home improvement warehouse, meaning they staked a claim to number 1, and they went there. Lowe's says we're going to improve home improvement. So they want to be outstanding, but they didn't stake a claim to number 1.
So they were the Avis to the Hertz of...
Correct. It's okay to be number 2. I'm not saying it's a bad place to be, but people just don't always set their sights to be there. Oh, maybe I don't deserve it, or what if I don't get it? I'll feel like a failure. So there's very few people that go that little extra mile, and if you're willing to do a little bit extra, I love the actor Will Smith had such a great expression. He said, if you're in a competition with me...
You will not outbeat me. You will not outwork me. I watch that clip all the time.
He said,
I will not quit.
He said, he goes, I will win,
or I will die trying.
Or I will die trying. So are you willing to go at it as hard as I will? Most people would say, you know, I don't know, Will. I don't know if I'm in the mood to die today.
Right.
You know, so he
said
wins.
it with such passion.
He believes it.
Yes, absolutely. And you're absolutely right, because you have to have that kind of notion of that I'm going to be #1 in creating that standard. So when you wrote the book, 7 Stages of Small Business Success, you know, where did you get your strategies from, or where did you, develop your studies from to pretty much say these are the 7 strategies that work?
Well, we observed what the winning strategies were of businesses that got to $1 million or more.
For instance,
and
Home
we
Depot
studied thousands of businesses.
Awesome.
And but the secret sauce in the whole methodology was all throughout the 90s when I was doing personal coaching and results coaching, I was doing behavioral analysis. I would do your personality assessment, and I would find out where were the strengths and where were the blind spots. And what we found was that 10 to 30% growth of a business is sitting in the blind spot of that business, but the owner can't realize all that potential because that's where their blind spot is too.
But before you move forward,
Yeah.
make me understand what a blind spot of a business is.
Okay, if I'm a big picture leader and business owner, the exact opposite of the big picture is the small picture, like systems and processes. So I might go out and sell stuff, and then when it shows up at your office, it's broken, it comes late, I sent you the wrong thing. Oh, no, but we'll make it right. And I'll spend all the profit that I just made trying to make it right again. So if I'm really good at the big picture, I might not be good at the details. If I'm really good at the details, I might not be good at the big picture. If I'm really good at the finance or the back of the house stuff, I might not be good at the front of the house. And so no one person can be all things to all people, but your business has to be.
So
or
you're
you'll
pretty
lose
much
your customer.
telling us effectiveness trumps efficiency.
No, you need both.
You need both, okay.
Effectiveness is the front of the house, bringing in all that sales and marketing and the leads. Efficiency is then creating that consistent experience, making that product over and over again, creating that assembly line. So you do need to have both.
So you need to have your
Have both
partner
in
needs
place.
to be a small. If you're a big picture person, your partner needs to be a small picture.
That's right. You balance yourself out, have both sides represented in your leadership team or at least on your staff.
Tell us about Blueprint for Success.
So Blueprint for Success, that was about 10 years ago now. I had the privilege of participating in a project with Stephen Covey, Sr., the late Stephen Covey, and Ken Blanchard. And I was writing the 7 Stages of Small Business Success at the time, and their publisher came to me and said, we're looking for something like your methodology that we could plug in there, because the 7 stages is very much a graph, it's very much a blueprint. You follow these 7 distinct steps and you can grow your business in 3 years, and they felt that would be a good match for the book. And so I was honored to be asked and love the experience of being able to collaborate.
You've published a number of really, really good books on business, but you're also a keynote speaker.
That's right. So I've had the chance over the years to share what I've learned from coaching as many people as I have and running my own businesses, where I get now to speak to entrepreneurs and executives all over the world.
Which is awesome. So you're really bringing all of this experience and all of this research and 10 years of schooling to the country.
Yeah, and I get to speak internationally, which is pretty cool, because I find out what's working in other parts of the world, and it hasn't gotten here yet. So I can see that there's trends in the States that help people in other countries, but there's also trends in other countries that could help us. And what's really neat is I get to travel around and see what's working, and then I can bring it back
For
here.
instance, are there differences? Like, for instance, would the French mentality have a different idea of entrepreneurship than the American?
You know, it's interesting, as much as everyone in every country would say they're way different, they're like way the same. Okay? And the main difference is that we just got there first, or they got here first, and we're about to follow. We put our own spin on it, but there's certain like regionalization of certain things, but the foundation is timeless. The principles are timeless.
Now, from your experience, what is the most effective type of leader in terms of getting the most from their business and their team?
The most effective type of leader is the authentic leader, is the leader that's willing to do anything to get the job done, but also willing to do nothing to get the job done, meaning they're willing to let other people shine. But
Trust their staff, trust the people.
Trust their staff, allow their staff to outperform them. Most people aren't willing to do that.
Love it.
You know?
So you offer free business surveys and free consulting. So that's, for someone of your stature and your success level, that's a big deal for you to offer that for free.
You gotta get
It
some
is.
samples out.
So yeah, so there are a number of people that helped me along the way. I had mentors who, at the time I was wondering, why would this person spend any time with me? And yet they did, and they really helped me out. And so what our firm does is we have something called the free business analysis. We spend 2 hours with an entrepreneur, and when we're done with them, we give them an action plan for their business and 5 growth strategies.
And if someone wants to get that, where would they go?
Go to carlgould.com and go, or anywhere that you see me on the web, just hit the contact us and say, I want the business analysis, and we'll make sure that you do that. We do about 400 per year, and that's our way of giving back.
Thank you so much, Carl. Thank you for being here with us, taking time. Just fantastic. You're a wealth of information. I hope you come back. And we have to take a break, but stay with us, because when we come back, we're going to talk about what does it take to make a movie in 48 hours? Stay with us.